So that's a good question. There are a lot of different variables. Is it truck driving traffic? So I asked you to put in the top 3 states with the most crash speeding related incidents. We keep going. Are the speed limits 100% the problem? I think it's the people, Carson. I think it's the people, 85%. I think every area needs to do a traffic study. You'll see a long wire. There's a sensor bolted to a sign or a telephone pole. They're going to measure the volume of traffic. They're going to find out what is the average, and then they're going to report this data. Okay. So I think it's partially road. I think it's partially speed limit. I think it's partially drivers driving too fast. I think it's partially the environment. We could have a flexible speed limit. During a certain time, the speed limit increases to get traffic moving. Certain time of day, the traffic limit decreases. That could be an option using data. Let's use Google Maps. Let's use satellite imagery. Let's make a 10-mile, 5-mile grid of traffic. And then the traffic limits will adjust up or down to keep traffic moving. That's using smart technology. So I like what you said, and I'm trying to be open-ended. Why do we want narrow roads? I already talked about that, to slow down traffic. What narrow roads? I've already talked about the narrow roads, so I'm going to keep it moving. If there's a less lane, still talking about narrow roads, less lanes could be designed to slow traffic down. They already use speed bumps. They have this in a lot of Metro Detroit, Metro Houston, Texas, Metro Dallas, Texas, Metro Los Angeles, California. If you live in any of those areas, they have speed bumps to slow people down because people are losing their lives. That's a cheap thing to do, but it still doesn't solve the problem. If there are less lanes on the road, we already talked about less lanes. Not necessarily, but we want to use data. I don't have data on smaller lanes equal less traffic. If you want to find out, please use Google Scholar. Type in Google Scholar, do smaller roads lead to more accidents? You can find a study that says yes. You can find a study that says no. It really depends on what is your goal. Is your goal to move traffic through safely? Is your goal to move traffic through as quick as possible? Is your goal to move traffic through as slow as possible? What is your goal? So you want to base the road on a lot of multiple factors. If I'm driving on the road and I don't see a speed limit, you want to drive at a reasonable speed limit. That's usually 65. If it's out on the expressway or highway, you're 55, you're 60, you're 65. If you're in a kind of a city area, it's either 35, 45, maybe 50. I used to get that question when students first start, like, if I don't see a speed limit sign, can I drive as fast as I want? No. Thank you for making your time up. If everybody's supposed to do the speed limit, why is this about speed limits and not about, it's about everything, Seth. It's about drivers. Remember, if you see the speed limit is 55, 77% of the people are going to drive at about 55. A few people will go 5 over, 65, 60 or 65. A few people will go under. There's some people who will go 10 over. So it's percentages. Not everyone speeds. And if you speed excessively, let's use Florida. If you speed excessively, let's use an example. You're in a neighborhood. You go 25 over the limit. That's 50. You're going to get arrested. So it goes both ways because now you're reckless. So I think a lot of people, when you use common sense, I think they're looking at a speed limit sense. Okay, I'm going to go 5 over. But if you go 1 over, you could get arrested. If you go 5 under, you're holding up traffic. And that's what happens today. We got honked because we were going under the speed limit. So I think there are a lot of factors involved, but breaking the law is breaking the law. What is the average speed in suburban areas if there's no speed limit? About 25 to 45 miles an hour. That's in that general area. It wouldn't be 50. It might be 45. It might be 35. It might be 25. I'm looking at kind of averages in this suburban area, but every suburban area is different. If you live out in Utah, it might have a higher average. If you live in Arizona, it might have a higher average. If you live in a Metro Detroit, a Metro Chicago, with more people, it's going to have a lower average. So they are different traffic laws. Yes, they are. Every state can set speed limits based upon their population. A mountainous area will have a slower speed limit. In California, there are a lot of curvy roads. They're going to adjust your speed limit. In Utah, they have a lot of straightaways. They can be over 70. So everyone is different. So I see South Carolina, New Mexico, and Alabama, Texas, California. So I figured on Texas. I figured on California. They're bigger areas. They're longer. areas. I've been to Texas and Florida, Rhode Island. I like this data. Massachusetts 6.1. New Hampshire 5.8, Rhode Island 5.6. Okay, I need you to put in what you learned, please and thank you. Put in what you learned about why United States speed limits are wrong. We talked about a lot today. I thought it was very educational. It gave you some good information. Type what you learned. Type some life lessons, because you are going to be the ones driving. And if you really want to have a good driving record, you're not going to say, oh man, all the speed limits are down, I'm going to go 100, because states are now cracking down on this. So give me 1 second, please. Type in what you learned.
Miles, Carter's phone's been off for 5 minutes. His audio, FYI.
Okay, we'll give him one
Keep
warning.
it on there, Carter.
Carter, always speak. Carter, you got to keep your phone on, or you're going to be removed. So I'm giving you a second warning, Carter. So I need to see your full face. I don't want to remove you, Carter, but if you're not going to be on, we're just going to remove you. Courtesy will support us. The state of Michigan will too. So I'm trying to help you get your credit, Carter. So either you're going to keep your phone on, or I'm going to remove you. So Carter, give me the thumbs up if you understand. Okay, if I see it again, I'm going to remove you. Just letting you know, no cap, no hate. All right, I like to keep it honest with you. I asked you to put in what you learned. I think this is really a good teachable moment, and you as a driver need to use sense and sensibility